Welcome back, everybody. This is the final follow-up video to a Core i7 build I had posted up a few months ago. Apologize for not getting it up anytime sooner. I've just been kind of a little bogged down here at the shop. But the goal of the system was to build a very powerful top high-end system for gaming, movie editing, music production, karaoke. So it had to actually be business class in the sense that it had to have top line components that would last, hold up to daily usage, overclocked. So what the customer decided on was the Thermaltake. This is the V9 case. This is the is a mid ATX case. It has two docking stations on top, so that's what the customer wanted. So you can dock in a 2.5 inch and a 3.25 inch hard drive on top, and those have direct connections. There's no eject mechanism, which I wish it would have. On top, it has a USB 2.0 headphone, microphone, and a USB 3, which is not hooked up because this motherboard is Gigabyte's. I did an unboxing of this a long time ago. P67. It is the P67A-UD7-B3 Vision board. This is before the Z series boards came out, and this motherboard does have USB 3.0 front headers. However, the case does not support that particular feature. However, now you can actually get actually 3.25 inch or 2.25 inch add-ons if you want to. But this is what the system finally looks like. The customer wanted a whole bunch of components in a small case, and the video card, if you all remember, is the XFX, and I have it up there, so I will zoom in. XFX HD Radeon 6990. This has their double lifetime warranty, meaning if you sell it, the second owner gets that warranty too, and it has 4 gigabytes of GDDR5. And you know what? You actually do notice that in games. The amount of memory this video card has is very noticeable if you are playing intense first-person shooters. So let's go and take a look at the rest of the case. The top of the case has a huge, I believe this is going to be their 200 millimeter exhaust fan. The case is set up for external water cooling. However, since the customer doesn't like that, what we ended up doing to cool off the computer was we ended up installing a Corsair H50 CPU cooler, which does fit on the 1155 motherboards, by the way. And then you see the Corsair CPU cooler there. The graphics card does fit. It does fit, as you can see. So the graphics card does fit. We have a very fast RAM. This RAM gave me a few problems when I was trying to get it to work with this motherboard, though. The RAM you see underneath the cooler is Gigabyte's. Let me double check the numbering, so if any of you are interested in reproducing this unit, you can actually get proper numbers. It is a full 16 gigs, and I do have the box up here, so let me go up and get it, and we can zoom into it. This is Gigabyte's F3 1700 C09Q 16 gigabyte kit. This runs at DDR3 2133 with a timing of 9, 11, 9, 28 at 1.65 volts. This is pretty quick RAM. Now, this motherboard is capable of running the RAM at full speed, and it does it. I actually had to go through 3 different sets of memory with Gigabyte before I actually did, which is odd because I would give that up to a fluke because Gigabyte memory is very good and I use it as a standard. Let's go through the rest of the board here, though. I'm going to put a light to this because I am the only cameraman tonight. I'm staying in really late. The motherboard has really good, nice features, and you can check out my unboxing video to go over some of that. What we have in the front of the this is for his kids or for him, but he was really a Transformers guy, so got all this logoing put on there for him. This is I believe this is AeroCool's. Yes, it is AeroCool's Strike X, a CPU fan controller. So it does control up to, I believe it's 4 or 5 fans, and it has a temperature monitoring system, and it is touch screen. It has also 2 additional USB 2.0 headers and audio headers here. But of course, if you have it up here, you can't really double it up unless you have an audio card and you just want to, you know, disable one or the other. So on top we have a Sony Blu-ray burner, and on the bottom we have a Sony DVD burner, a multi-card reader. The case, I was actually very hesitant in using this case after the customer started adding on an exorbitant amount of powerful components, but you build what they like and you make it work. So the 6990 already has an aluminum heatsink on top, and I was very concerned about the temperature of the card, considering that this case only has a 120 millimeter front intake fan and no fans to speak of on the side or on the back of the case. It's a very just vented side case panel. It was a pretty big concern. So what I ended up doing was ordering a, I believe this is the ASEN PCI, because it fits into a PCI bay fan. And the fan you see, and I never unboxed this unfortunately, the fan you see right here is a blower style that actually exhausts air, and this actually intakes air. The power supply is a 1000 watt continuous, I believe here we go, it is Rosewill's 1000 watt continuous 80 plus gold lightning power supply. Very nice, like music style connector, power connectors there. They light up too, so it puts on quite a bit of a show. The fan is, I believe, is a 140 millimeter fan, which really adds on to the cooling of the unit. If you're wondering why it's actually, you're wondering why the fan is actually sitting like this, it's per customer request. So what you see in terms of hard drives, we had installed OCZ's Vertex 3. This is, at the time of purchase, was the fastest 2.5 inch solid state hard drive that would fit in your standard, I believe, standard hard drive bay. Of course, there are other drives that are faster, but this is something that would be something that you wouldn't have to do much modification to your case for, and it is quick. This is an amazing hard drive, and I will power up the computer in a little bit so that you can take a look at it. However, now we're going to zoom in to see what the official specs of this. Okay, a read up to 550 megabits per second, a write up to 520 megabits per second. Okay, and this is what's really impressive. Okay, 4K random write align up to 60,000 ops per second. That's amazing. Okay, manufacturer, it has a 3-year warranty, but these have been known to last quite a while. Uses a SandForce controller and a SATA 3 interface with trim support. OCZ gives you a bracket with it too, if you can see the end of the OCZ lettering there. What we have on bottom is 2 Western Digital Caviar Black 1 terabyte hard drives, and those are also SATA 3 interface. So now you might be wondering what that is, that little clear unit. That is actually a mic unit for LED lights that are sound reactive. Okay, here we see that a little bit. The hard drives in this computer, I was very worried about keeping a constant temperature with, especially since that 120 millimeter was meant to cool off the entire system. So what I did was I actually custom fabricated a metal plate and painted it red, and installed a Thermaltake 120 millimeter fan, and I put a gold grill on there. And what I have it set up for is what is very similar to how I set up the CPU cooler. We have a push and pull setup here, as you can see, which is very effective. This fan pushes, this fan pulls, keeping a constant temperature on the radiator here, and that gets fed into the CPU, of course. Oh, the RAM is cooled by these little fans that spin blue LED lights. Very nice. Sleeved as many of the cables as I could, and it is magical that I was. There are some cables that I didn't use. The CPU fan controller, I'm sorry, the fan controller is more cosmetic than anything else. The most useful thing on it is actually the temperature readouts, because we are actually leaving everything at full blast in this case. With the 120 millimeter in front intaking and the 120 millimeter here pulling out, I was able to maintain a very constant temperature in between the hard drives, and then area of positive airflow, which kept the hard drives very clean and actually helped pull air into the system dramatically. This really helped the system out. I think that I may use it again in future custom builds. In terms of the case again in the back, there is not much room to hide anything. You see I have a temperature sensor on the back plating for the CPU, and I had to, and there's the USB 3.0 wire. The customer just didn't want it to use it. I had to double band everything up together just to make things fit. So if you are going to try to replicate the system, I would suggest a full-size case. Let's see what we have in the back here. In the back of this computer, we have, there we go, the Ryzen X, and it is right here. Graphics card cooler does have a little rheostat, so it does have a fan controller here. The 6990 itself only has one DVI and the rest mini display ports. So if any of you are familiar with Infinity on the 6000 series cards, if you don't have native display port monitors that are all the same, you can experience tearing on the mini display port adapter. That's something that they have to fix with that drivers. And so let's boot it up. Let's boot up the system, and you can take a look at how it looks, how it sounds. And I'm going to go right to the monitor so that you can see how quickly this computer boots up. So I am going to zoom in, and now, so I'm sorry, I'm getting a very bad effect here on the camera. So, oh my lord, there we go. Once it goes, we get power to the screen, and this is booting off of OCZ's Vertex 3. Basically, there you have it, and that is a very quick boot up. This is booting up with Windows 7 Ultimate. So with people have asked certain things about Windows 7 Ultimate is the most bootlegged software, one of the most at the moment. However, I always say get original. The knockoffs have security flaws and honestly have hardware conflicts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in onto the hardware profile. It's loading up Steam. Okay, we know that. Okay, now why don't I zoom in on the hardware setup. This particular hard drive is not set as just a boot drive. It's a usable hard drive. Okay, now that doesn't mean that it won't get filled up very quickly. You have to know what you're doing. You have to, turn off indexing. You might want to turn off some services, install huge programs on the secondary or third hard drive. But if you set it up in a way, you can still have a very usable drive. As you can see, we have 103 gigs free of 223. That makes movie rendering very, very attractive with this hard drive. You have enough space to install your games that you play and big programs such as Adobe CS4, CS5, movie editing, audio editing programs, and you can do your rendering times on the SSD, transferring your files to your secondary or third drive. And I found that to be very, very effective. This machine is a beast. It is a fast machine. Now why don't I actually get the specs of the computer up for you to see how Windows ranks it, because it's how a lot of people judge a computer, even though we know it's not the most accurate. Oops, let's that is goofiness right there, because there we go. We have the Core i7 2600K. It is, and of course that doesn't display correctly, it's at 4.5 gigahertz right now, running 16 gigs of RAM. Okay, and the lowest ranking is 7.8, and you would not believe what that is. It is actually the CPU rating. Apparently you have to have the 990 Extreme, the 6-core processor to make this, you know, or the 980 Extreme to make this rank at 7.9. So the numbers are very, very good in this system. There is a huge difference, and of course, why do I say that Windows doesn't rank it correctly? For example, I did build another system of a 2600K, and that had the 6950 video card. That was the 2 gig version, and that's ranked the graphics at 7.9. Now there's a whole world of difference between the 6990 and this the 6950. This video card will load textures much quicker. Your games are seamless. For example, Crysis 2, which we do have on this machine, and I have put a video up once. Crysis 2 looks amazing on this machine with DirectX 11. We have Call of Duty, Black Ops on there. I've tried that up. I have not tried Battlefield, Modern Warfare 3 yet, and I will if I get the chance. It has been tested on Eyefinity, and it does work well with Eyefinity. Let's see, in terms of movie rendering, in terms of rendering movies using Handbrake, using CS4, CS5, it is quick, very, very, very quick. This is the computer right now, that once it's lit up, and it does put on quite a bit of a show. It does look very nice. Let's see, as you can see, we have blue LEDs, and the microphone is sound reactive, so it is reacting to my voice right now. We have blue LED lights on the bottom, and then red LED lights behind the grill here, behind the front grill, and it's again, it's more light sound reactive. So let me go. It's a nice light show, and it was a bit of a trick to get everything to fit into this little case, but you know, once it did actually fit into the little case, it turned out very nicely. In terms of temperature, and this is how the LCD display looks, and you see it blinking. Here, I'm sorry, we have the fan RPM blinking because there are 4 fan controller channels, and the only one that I have hooked up is the one up to I believe that is the front. So that is running at 1600 RPM. The temperature display that we have up is the I believe the CPU temp. So the temperature sensors are all active, and they are actually reporting correctly. So, but as you can see, if you just stick your hand here, you would feel an area of positive pressure. This has actually helped cool the system out so much better. And the lighting on the power supply, as you can see, is pretty cool. The fan, the additional fan is actually lit up too. Now that I think about it, and this is a very powerful fan. Don't let anybody say it's not. This is an extremely powerful fan, well worth the money if you can fit it into your case. So let's see. I think that's it for this final follow-up video. Hope I haven't missed anything. If I did, I will make an additional follow-up video. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions about replicating the system, about how the system runs, just email me or post your comment on the bottom of the video. So signing off from Lauren, Portland Custom PC. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.